Thanks for staying with us. We'll take our final lap of this journey today, and we're focusing on the fact that Senator Aliyu Wadada has warned several key government agencies for defying repeated summons to address audit queries raised by the Auditor General for the Federation. The agencies include the Inspector General of Police, FIRS, NNPCL, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Customs Service, NCAA, NUPRC, FCTIRS, and NICOMSAT, among others. Wadada stated that any further disregard for Senate intervention or invitations, rather, will result in immediate actions, including arrest warrants and potential removal from office, and warned that financial mismanagement records would be made public. To discuss with us this morning is Dr. Omoshola Deji, political scientist. Good morning and welcome to the program, Dr. Deji.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay. The people or the agencies are threatened with warrants of arrest. Eventually, the IGP is part of it. And I was just looking at it and laughing. Very critical agencies are the ones that are involved. The IGP himself, who is supposed to be at the vanguard of enforcing these laws, is part of it. The NNPCL, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and all other critical ones are part of it. I'd just like us to look at this warning, how much water it holds, and then what you think the way forward could be.
Well, the warning is in order because it is within the right of the National Assembly to summon any public official that is appointed by the president, or if you are receiving money from the federal government, either by way of contract or by salary. If you are engaged by the federal government directly or indirectly, you have the right to be summoned by the National Assembly to an appointee of the president. If the president has appointed you in any capacity, you have the right to be summoned by the National Assembly. And if we look at it, even the president can be summoned by the National Assembly. But what we've had over the years is this unholy alliance between the National Assembly and the members of the executive. And the reason why this is happening, why there's so much disregard for the National Assembly, which comprises the Senate and the House of Representatives, is the behavioral pattern of the members of the National Assembly to the executive and members of the executive to the legislature over the years. So that same line of respect has been built, because you won't find a situation whereby the National Assembly leaders, when they want to emerge, they will run to the executive for their support. Now, when they emerge, the leaders that eventually emerge are usually those that are the political loyalists of the executive. And at the end of the day, these leaders, the appointees of the executive, know that the people that were being, the people that are summoning them, will at the end of the day most likely come back to meet their leader in the middle of the night and be whining and be drinking and be, merrymaking. So there is no fear of consequence. The fear of consequence is not there at all. And if you look at it from the angle of the political culture, and there's a 2027 dynamics to it, from the angle of the political culture, which I just explained partly, over the years, if the president doesn't have the Senate president and the House of Representatives, if they are not his voice in court, he's not comfortable. He will want somebody that he can speak to any time, that he can usually have his way at any point in time. So when you now appoint people, what do you now think? What do you expect? These people knows that you are produced by their boss, and their boss can influence your removal, their boss can frustrate your operation, then they will behave the way they like. When the members of the National Assembly lobby some of these agencies for appointment, when they lobby some of them for budget padding, when they lobby some of them for employment, these are the kind of things that you would get. So our democratic system is very, very flawed. And the 2027 dynamics to it is Akpabio, who happens to be the Senate president and the leader of the National Assembly, wants a return ticket in 2027. he wants to be the Senate president again. And if you look at the politics of the South, Akpabio is a very powerful politician in his own right. But then there was a problem in 2023 in the sense that Akpabio is not one of the key loyalists of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The key trusted loyalist of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the South is Adam Oshiomhole. Adam Oshiomhole, unfortunately, was a first-time senator. And in the rule book of the National Assembly, you cannot be the Senate president if you are a first-time senator. So that gives the opportunity for Godswill Akpabio. And you would have heard it even during the Edo governorship election that the reason why Oshiomhole was jumping from state to state, screaming every morning, afternoon, and night, is so that the state can retain the governorship position, and that can give him an easy access, an easy political capital to emerge as the Senate president. So in 2027, there will be a stiff contest for this between Adam Oshiomhole, who happens to be a loyalist of the president over the years, and a Godswill Akpabio, who is now striving to show himself that, oh, he is also a loyalist, and even he can be a better loyalist. So those are the dynamics of this thing. And some of the appointees of the president, they know this thing, that some of these things that they are saying that, oh, we will issue arrest of warrants, that they know that it's just lip service, because they know the politics and the dynamics. So Akpabio is eyeing another Senate presidency. Adam Oshiomhole is making his way to try and see how he can become the Senate president. And all these issues, it kind of like hinders the efficiency of the National Assembly. But what I can say is that those that are being summoned need to realize that the National Assembly is a very powerful tool. That is the institution that represents democracy. And when the National Assembly summons you, regardless of how ineffectual the National Assembly is, when you receive a summons in the political realm, in terms of governance, who is summoning you? It is your own Nigerian people that is summoning you. Once the National Assembly summons you, it is regarded as if the whole of Nigeria is summoning. Because if you look at the history of the Legislative House, it is assumed that we all need to speak. We all need to air our mind. We all need to say what we want and pass a law on how we want to trouble. But then, all of us, 200 million of us, cannot go to the National Assembly and say, oh, want to debate. It will be too rowdy. There's even no space for 200 million people, and some people may be represented, some may not be represented. Some people may be educated, some people may be illiterate. That is why the Senate and House of Reps was established, so that we can elect representatives that, okay, because I cannot be there, okay, you, Honorable Joseph, have to go to the National Assembly, go and speak for us. So when you receive a summons of the National Assembly, whether the Senate or the House of Reps, you are receiving a summons from the Nigerian people to come and account for either how you have spent your years or time in public office, how you have spent public money, how you have conducted yourself in public office. So the summon of the National Assembly is very, very powerful. But unfortunately, just as most things that should be powerful, just as most things that should have checks and balances to the conduct of the executive, in other Senate climes in Nigeria, they amount to nothing or almost nothing, unfortunately.
So now, from all your explanation, it seems as if we do not have any hope. Because if these people are arrogant because they are having the backing of a godfather who happens to be in the presidency, then there is no hope, because the voices of the people reside with the National Assembly. And if the National Assembly cannot hold them to account, then what are we going to do? Is it that the people should put pressure on the National Assembly or the executive? What are the options left to us? Because if these people are not held accountable for the spending, for every other thing that they do, it's a dangerous thing for our country, Nigeria, because a lot of money was flagged by the audit report, and these people need to come and explain that. Nobody wants to come. And some of them have been summoned for more than 5 times, and they just turn it down, and as if nothing will happen. So in the case where they still don't come, and their godfathers, so to speak, doesn't do anything to them, what can Nigerians do?
Well, Fred, it is an insult, a great insult that the National Assembly will summon you, not once, not twice, not thrice, and you will regard the National Assembly. It is very insulting, it's very ridiculous, And some of these people, they don't know the powers of the National Assembly. First, democracy believes that knowledge is not the property of one man. Knowledge does not belong to one man. That's why you have the principle of separation of power, checks and balances. And every layers of government is checkmated by another arm of government. The executive will be checkmated by the legislature, which is the members of the National Assembly. The National Assembly is being voted in by the people, and even when they pass a law, they still need to send it to the executive for the executive to read and make amendments or ratify that particular law. And the judiciary is also there to adjudicate. So if you look at it at every layer, even the judiciary, when they want to appoint judges, they will still send it to the executive for the executive to ratify the appointment. So you can see that democracy that we practice, if we are practicing it the right way, has good structure for checks and balances. But how can this bad political culture begin to change? First, it is our leadership recruitment process. We need to have more oriented citizens in such a way that when people that have made money through illegal, illegitimate, unholy means, when they come to you with bag of rice and money, and they are dancing around the street, you need some form of education, you need some form of orientation to be able to do beyond the topic, beyond the dancing, beyond the screaming. Because we look at most of our political rallies, it is 0 upon 0. They just come, they just sing, they just dance, they just abuse, and at the end of the day, maybe they say, we provide water, we pay salary on time. The basic that, in the 21st century shouldn't be used as a form of campaign. Nobody is looking at the antecedents of this candidate, nobody is looking at their pedigree. So we need oriented citizens to be able to look at these things. Then our leadership improvement process in terms of the highness, in terms of the qualification that you need to become a governor, a senator, a president, right now you need just to start. I think a degree or maybe an HND is not a bad idea. So let us raise the bar. Then we need to be able to have leaders that know their worth, leaders that are well oriented to know that ineffectiveness doesn't mean that I am against you. In the Nigerian political terrain, what we have is that the Nigerian political leaders believe that if you are not in support of them, if you are not in bed with them, then automatically you are against them. So you must either be their core loyalists that you are bowing at their feet, or else you are against them. And you can see that one of the times that we have good Senate leadership was during the time of Bukola Saraki, because I used to watch the Senate debate. Even if the APC of the Buhari bloc will eventually have their way, Saraki will still make sure that that particular bill or whatever they are doing is subject to thorough scrutiny. There's vigorous debate. But now we don't have such a thing. Nigeria, we want to go and borrow money from World Bank, from IMF, and within a day or two, it has been approved. And you begin to wonder, how does this come to play? So our legislators, when they are elected, they should realize that pampering is different from nurturing. What our legislators usually do is they used to kind of like pamper the executive so that they will appear as a nice boss. But on the other hand, they are supposed to nurture the executive in such a way that the executive will have no way out than to bring effectiveness to the people of Nigeria. It's like when a parent gives birth to a child, and your child is doing the wrong thing, and you didn't caution that child. That means you are pampering that child. But if you nurture the child, you are doing it just so that that child can be effective for you sooner or later. So for me, the National Assembly should begin to see themselves in the two states they have. They are operating like cats rather than lions. In a democracy, the National Assembly is a lion. When it roars, the president himself should start cold. The president himself should be afraid. But unfortunately, the National Assembly is not even roaring. The National Assembly is not even saying anything. The president is just sleeping, and the insult has now gone to his aide, his appointee. So the National Assembly really needs to get it out right. Our leadership recruitment process, we need oriented citizens, and we need to tackle it holistically in the true sense of it. If it's tackled holistically, then democracy will begin to bring the true dividend that it's supposed to bring for us. Just imagine it, the billions of naira that accusations are flying left, right, and center in a country where 70,000 is the minimum wage, in a country where people are dying of starvation, in a country where hardship is prominent, in the poverty capital of the world, in a country whereby the naira is losing its value against the dollar, in a terribly indebted country, yet billions of naira are left unaccounted for. And when they kind of like see that the book is not balanced, and they call you to come and account, the Nigerian people that you are sitting there, the taxpayers, you are collecting taxpayers' money, still the Nigerian people will call you to come and account to them to their representatives. You will not answer. That is, I don't want to use any power word, but it is not bad in the true sense of it. And the earlier we get it right, the better. Because if we look at it, and this is one of the problems, look at why is it that democracy has always functioned in every part of the world for other countries. It has functioned for America. It has brought development to America. It has functioned for the UK. It is functioning for Canada, functioning for Australia. But when it comes to Nigeria, it is not functioning. These are some of the things. And not until we begin to tackle it, then it will not function, because our democracy is totally different from even I think the proponents of democracy, if they come to Nigeria to study our democracy, they will be confused. They will be very, very confused about the kind of democracy that we practice. And that is where we have found ourselves. So the earlier the better for all of us, because if you are enjoying it today, who knows, you may be out of power tomorrow. And that injustice, that ineffectiveness, that corruption that you created will now come back to hurt you. If it doesn't hurt you, you won't live forever. It will come back to hurt your children. It's just like insecurity. If we leave it to let it try, we've had top military died out of insecurity in this country. We've had royal fathers died out of insecurity in this country. So we begin to learn from this thing to create the necessary effectiveness for a developed Nigeria.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Deji. We hope that we'll get our recruitment process right, especially in the 2027 election. We've just had a case where a rec who falsified some records was jailed, and one other one was jailed before him. Now, we hope that it will now be very visible for the people to know that if you do something that is wrong, you are going to face the consequences. Maybe that is where we are going to start and make sure that our recruitment process for our leaders is gotten right. We'd like to thank you for coming on the show this morning. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
We've been talking with Dr. Omoshola Deji, a political scientist. We were looking at some facts surrounding the fact that some people have been invited, some agencies of government, and they blatantly refused to attend these sessions with the Committee of the National Assembly. We were wondering where this effrontery came from and who is giving them the backing to do what they're doing. It's a dangerous trend for Nigeria, but we hope that it is surmountable. That's how much we can take on the show this morning. Thank you for having the breakfast with us. Until tomorrow, when we come with another edition of the show, my name is Nyamgul Agaji. Have a wonderful day.